up the champagne. Pop. It's my house. Come on, turn it up.
Welcome to Real Estate Today with the Richardson Group, brought to you by the Richardson Group, KW Cleveland, starring Cindy Richardson, the owner, managing broker of the Richardson Group, with over 25 years of experience in the real estate industry in Southeast Tennessee. And I am Jack Fennell, 8 years experience in real estate here in the Southeast Tennessee area, and we are wanting to talk real estate with you guys this morning, all things nationally, local, and everything in between. Cindy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you, Jack?
I'm doing great. I know it has been a super busy week.
We are in our season. Yesterday was the first day of summer.
Oh, I know it. I love it. And the temperature outside lets you know, considering it's rained for the last 3 months straight.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Yeah, if your yard is not very green right now, there's something wrong.
Yeah. And if you haven't mowed it twice in the last 2 weeks, something's a lot wrong, because you're going to have to mow it at least twice again.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had a lot of stuff going on that we want to try and cover. The first one was the Fed met this past week.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed. How about you?
Yeah,
I think
true.
it was fully expected to do what they did or didn't do. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, true. With the Fed held steady at their rate. They did not do a rate cut this month. They've kept the federal funds rate between 4.25% and 4.5%, and that is what really the rate that banks borrow money against for each other. That's bank-to-bank borrowing. That's going to affect your auto loan rates, credit card rates, personal loan rates, things like that. It's not necessarily tied to mortgages. They're tied actually to a long-term treasury bond, and typically we see the mortgage industry start taking those cuts in advance of a Fed meeting when they think there's going to be a drop. But
Why did they not cut?
I think a lot of it right now is they're looking at what's going on internationally. You've got some big issues going on
There's
that
something
just
going
started.
internationally.
Well, there's always something going on internationally.
No,
but,
just
I mean, that's just part of it. All I had to do was listen to the news that came on before the show started, and you can pretty much tell what that was. But they are expecting to have a 2/4 point cut before the end of the year. That's a big suggestion. I don't quite think it'll probably be July. We're probably looking at the September meeting to let us make it through summer, through the main travel season, and then look to see where we are kind of starting fall. Is what everybody is kind of thinking. I think the biggest thing is once they start cutting rates, that's where you're going to start seeing a little bit of, I think that's where your hiccups are. I know there's some pain right now with where the rates are, but once they start to drop, that kind of has a secondary side to that too.
Yeah, we're going to see the market shift again.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're going to see a lot of pickup on, I think a lot of things in general. Once those rates start to drop across the board, a lot of your spending goes up. I think the big thing is they've tried to cut out a lot of, I don't want to say wasteful spending, but a lot of your other, what's a good word for it? That I have to have it now and I have a credit card spending. But you still got a lot of people that are going day-to-day purchases are on a credit card, and you're hoping that you get some relief before the bill comes at the end of the month. So
That's scary if you're living that way.
it is. And we're seeing a lot of stuff right now on that side of what are going to happen when rates drop. I think the big thing with that one is we talked about this a lot, is you're going to start seeing a lot of people coming back onto the market.
Right. That's been over the last couple of years. We had several years of double-digit appreciation, and that was great if you were a seller. But at that pace, it was really driving the home prices up in the area. So we have seen last year, this year, we're seeing almost back to normal appreciation, where we're seeing 4 or 5% appreciation per year. So that has really helped keep prices a little kind of just where they're at. We are not seeing any kind of depreciation in the area, but we are seeing much less appreciation.
I think the big thing is when they start to let them fall, a lot of people have said, well, we're waiting on rates to go down, which is understandable, and that's one side of a coin. But the problem is the other side is what happens to those housing prices when those rates start to go down.
Right.
And you get this massive influx of buyers that have all said for the last 2 years, we're waiting on rates to come down.
Right.
They're now going to enter the housing market as
Which is going
purchasers.
to drive the prices back up again.
So you're going to get into those situations to where you have multiple interested parties looking at the same house.
Right.
So whether it's reflected up front when that first happens on the market price when it's listed, or if it happens when you finally get to the sale price, because now you're in a situation where you have 4 or 5 or 6 different buyers that are looking at the same house and making offers. And here's the thing, we're still seeing that now in certain price ranges. If you are in, say, a lot of things, a really good house at a really good price, say $400,000 and below, on a good comparable home, you still have multiple bid.
Right.
I was talking to agents the other day that had some multiple bids on some houses over $1 million. And so
Well, I think if they're priced correctly, that you're going to see the multiple bid. Or a lot of strategy that agents are using is if you price on slightly below the market value, and then you're going to get into multiple bids, and you're going to push the price up.
Yeah.
So rather than going slightly above and hoping someone makes you an offer, you go slightly below in the hopes that you're getting multiple offers and pushing it up.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, for a seller, the big thing is looking at what's going to be the most advantageous for you. And it helps the buyer on the flip side, too, because you automatically know the buyer is coming in asking for certain things in this market. We're starting to see concessions for closing costs, things like that have come back into the market. And those are more of a regular norm now than what they were 2 or 3 years ago.
Right. 2 or 3 years ago, you couldn't ask for anything.
Yeah.
And if you were getting a 100% loan, it was hard to get a seller to accept your offer. Now, sellers are excited to have buyers again.
Yeah. And that's the part of it, though, too, is if you've sat for a little while and everything like that, you know, it's important to see where you're at. But, I mean, a lot of homes, if you're really good and in that really good price point, you're less than a week, and you're normally under contract now still, which to where it's
I
still
think
very
the
good.
May numbers, which were just put out, the average days on the market in our area was 44 days on the market. And that's from the time that you go on the market until you actually accept the contract. Whereas this time last year, I think it was 35.
Yep.
So we have gone up slightly, but that's still a lot less. There's a reason that agents are in the habit of doing listing agreements that are 6 months. It's because in the past, you've needed the full 6 months potentially to get rid of the home.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, though, too, is you've got to know coming in where you are comparable to the other houses in the market. And that's where you've got to have somebody that's going to take a look at where you're at. And you can do this research on your own. Get out there and look online. You've got a ton of great resources, and you're already using them. Most people I know are already either on Zillow or Realtor or Redfin, whether they're looking to do anything or not, because they want to know where their house is in comparison to everything that's out there. So you can kind of find a house that's comparable to what you have, see what the price is and what it's sold for, and you can kind
And
of
if
get
it's
an idea where you're
similar
at.
in size, age, and condition of yours and in your subdivision, that is a true indication of what your home is worth today.
Yeah. I think that's one of the bigger things is you just kind of don't know where even if you're looking at doing a home equity line of credit, things like that, you kind of want to know where your home value is. But it's also going to help when you turn around and have to do maintenance. Don't forget the maintenance on your home, because those are some of the quickest ways to drive down your market value, because even though it is sometimes a cosmetic impact of not cleaning gutters, not pressure washing the side of the house, not cleaning the concrete, doing the weeds and the landscaping, things like that. Those are things that to a buyer, they're going to say, if they've not taken care of this, what are the major things that I can't see inside of a home?
Right, especially if you're standing at the front door waiting on someone to unlock the door, and you're sitting there looking around, and the gutters are packed, there's things growing in the gutters, looks like the windows haven't been cleaned in over a year, front porch is messy, then yeah, it just puts a bad taste in your mouth, like somebody's not loved on the home and kept it up.
Yeah, and as much as we say that, that's the first thing when you take a buyer to a house and you're coming through the front door, which is where we're going to have you come in, because that's whether that's the entrance you use or not, that's where we're going to bring people through. Because
Very
that's
few people
the
use
entry
their
of the
front
home. Yeah.
doors. You use it whenever you put your home on the market. You most likely need to put some WD-40 in your lock because nobody has used it. Everybody comes and goes out of the garage.
Yeah, grease the hinges, make sure it doesn't squeak,
Yeah.
knock the cobwebs down, any bird's nests that are around it, go ahead and get those out. Sweep off the welcome mat that hasn't been seen in 6 months. things like that. I mean, it's little
Take
things.
the Christmas mat off the front porch.
Yeah, but I mean, those are little things that are going to help drive your perception, and a lot of your value in your home is perception. Because you're not to the appraisal point yet. They're not looking at what is the home actually worth. They're looking at it from the aspect from a buyer. Do I want to buy this home? And you can turn a buyer off. Well, I have to open the lock on the front of the house. A buyer is going to stand there and turn around. They're not going to watch me. They're going to inspect what's closest to them. And if there are issues on the front side getting into the house, they're going to think there's more once you get inside. Whether it's immaculate on the inside or not, the first impression is the outside of the house.
Right. First impression is that it's not kept up.
Yeah. So I know we're talking about home prices are probably going to go up with the full influx of buyers coming in.
But even if interest rates don't drop, and let's say we stay at the same interest rate for another year. So even if that happens, you're still going to see that modest appreciation of 3 to 4% in the area, or let's say 3 to 5%. So if you've got a home that is valued at $300,000 this time next year, without doing anything but maintaining your home, you should be sitting somewhere between $310,000 and $315,000 for the exact same house.
Yeah, I think you're going to start seeing houses are going to start trickling back onto the market. A lot of people that have had these great rates, they're going to want to see where the prices are going, what's going to happen, what's the most they can get for their house. And that's been you have to understand the rates of what have kept a lot of buyers out of the market for the last 2 years. They've also what has kept the same thing that's kept a lot of houses off the market. So we're going to start seeing some of those come back into play, and not quickly. But you'll start seeing them as prices kind of settle in over the next year, because we're talking about a 6-month run to the end of the year now with 2 potential rate drops.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that actually affects what they do with the mortgage rates and how the Treasury bonds shake out.
Well, and rates are not at their all-time high. We've got the 30-year conventional, which is hanging around 6.8, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, just depending on the time of week. But normally that's right around where we've been. And then you've got FHA and VA that are staying between right at 6.5, a little less than 6.5. And that's without buying down any points.
Yeah. I think the other big thing, though, too, is right now, as rates start to come down, you're actually starting to get into that refinance surge. For a lot of homeowners that have bought into those higher rates over the last 2 years, they're going to start waiting on rates to come in and do their refinance, because there were a lot of companies offering 3-year rate buy downs.
Right.
As those start to expire, they're going to start looking to refinance a lot of those homes. The other one that I enjoy, and I love working with investors. I think investors are going to start coming back in this market too, as you start getting a little more rate friendly for the investors to come in. And this area are huge cash flow areas to where you can get in and do a property. So you're going to see they're going to be in the market for their starter homes, rental investment property, something that can be rented out. Land development, that's going to be another big push. Guys, let's step away and take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dive into a little more of what's going on in the market today. This is Real Estate Today with the Richardson Group.
WGOW.
The news you need.
Everything I need on one station every day.
Talk 102.3 WGOW FM.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/20/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
When it comes to selling or buying a home, Cindy Richardson and the incredible pros who make up the Richardson Group, Keller Williams, will tell it to you straight. Their years of serving homeowners in the Tennessee Valley have earned them incredible respect in the real estate industry. Go online to rg423.com.
This is Paige from Kia of Chattanooga announcing our Kia $299 sale, featuring new Kias for just $299 down, $299 per month. And get this, new Kias start at just $18,991. Yes, a new car with a factory warranty for under $19,000. Plus, you can finance a 25 Kia Sportage or Sorrento at 1.9 APR for 60 months. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. At Kia of Chattanooga, all credit is welcome. Plus, Kia of Chattanooga will pay top dollar for any trade in any condition. Don't miss the Kia $299 sale. New Kias for just $299 down, $299 per month at the world-famous Kia of Chattanooga and KiaofChattanooga.com.
You could be driving a Kia. Oh, yes, you could. Kia of Chattanooga.
Stock number K945270. 25 Soul LX sale price. $18,991. $299 down, $299 a month for 84 months at 6.9 APR plus tax and tag. Dealer retains all rebates. $12.72 per thousand finance for 60 months at 1.9 APR. Subject to lender approval. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
If you want to get into real estate, call Cindy Richardson. Cindy offers individualized training, full-time support staff, and the kind of expert marketing to bring business to you. Go to rg423.com and talk to Cindy Richardson. You'll be glad you did.
You know, divorce can be hard enough without worrying about selling a home. When you call Cindy Richardson, there's no worry. She makes the process stress-free. One of Cindy's agents just sold the home of a divorced couple. The Richardson Group had to work with 2 different attorneys so that Cindy could negotiate on behalf of both parties. The whole process, absolute smooth as anything. Just Google Richardson Group or go online to rg423.com. Each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated.
Talk 102.3.
Welcome back to Real Estate Today with the Richardson Group. We're talking about rate changes, housing, selling, buying, and all things real estate today. I know we talked for a little while earlier about the rate changes, what we're expecting when rates do start to come down. I think the 2 biggest things to take away from that whole thing is if you're a buyer, go ahead and get pre-approved before the rates drop, because once that happens, you are going to be competing against a larger group of buyers, so which is going to put a lot of pressure in those price points that you're looking at. And if you're a seller, don't wait too long to list. Because if you list right before the rates drop, it might help you beat the rush of everybody that as those homes start trickling on in your price points. But it's always good to reach out and talk to a knowledgeable realtor, and we're always available for you. You can reach us at our office, 423-790-7979. I'd love to get an opportunity to talk to you about your real estate needs. And Cindy, we hit a little bit on it earlier today, but why are homes struggling to sell? We've talked about all the good parts about the housing markets and what's still moving, but we have certain pockets of the real estate market where we're seeing a slowdown in homes moving.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's critical that you price your home correctly from the beginning. So we're having a lot of people that are asking, why is my home not selling? And you've got to kind of take a look at the whole picture to figure out why it's not. And it very well could be the price.
Yeah, and I think the saying that it's overpriced it encompasses a couple of different things. A, are you overpriced for your market?
Right.
Are you overpriced for
your area?
Your area, and are you overpriced for your condition?
Right.
And some of those are different. There are different nuances to each one when you're talking about your pricing and your pricing strategy. But I think the biggest thing is you've got to look at, if you are the best home in your neighborhood, you're the biggest, you're the best, does that help you or does that actually hurt you?
That actually hurts you. So you never want to be the biggest, the best. You're going to bring less per square foot, because you also have to look at the overall average price or the median price in the area, in the subdivision. And if you are way over that, then that's going to pull your price down. Now, if you're the smallest in the subdivision, it very well could pull your price up.
Yeah, I think this thing is being the biggest and the best probably hurt you a little bit, but it helped your neighbors.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you're adding value to the neighborhood, but when you turn around and sell it, does the neighborhood add value to your home?
Right.
And in today's market where you have a lot of people, their affordability is their biggest concern. Can I afford what I'm buying? They're very strict on what they're picking. And are they getting the best bang for their buck? So they're going to really look to stay inside of that budget. I'm getting a lot of people now that are pre-qualified up to X, but their comfortable payment is not X.
Right.
It's lower. So just because you qualify for, say, a $500,000 home is $400. Yeah. Are you comfortable with that payment?
You don't want to be house poor. You don't want to not get to take vacations or do things. So you don't want to be house poor. You may want to just consider, do you get something that's a little less and maybe doesn't have all the bells and whistles that you would like, but you can always add those things later and stay well below your budget.
Yeah. And I think the big thing of it too is if you've been looking at selling, you've been watching houses around you, step out and get a market analysis. We call them a CMA is what they call them in the industry. It's just it's a value of your home based on what other homes in your area have sold based on the current market. We do those too out of our office. You can reach rg423.com. You can go on there and request a CMA. You can call our office 790-7979. Be happy to help you guys get as much information about your home as possible.
Yeah. I think the other thing you have to look at, if the condition of your home is good and you feel like the price is close to or where you need to be, then step back and take a look at your marketing.
I think that's another big one is what does how does your presence of your home?
Right. If you are searching on the internet, how do you compare to other homes that your potential buyer would also be looking at that same day?
Yeah, I mean, if your home doesn't stand out to you when you look it up online, it's not going to stand out to somebody else.
Right.
And I think that first photo is always the most important thing.
So important.
If you've got a great feature of a home, that's what you want to be featured in the first 6 photos. You don't want to have a picture of a tree.
You have about 10 seconds to catch a buyer's attention online with photos before they're going to swipe on to the next one if you have not caught their attention enough to actually dig into the details.
Yeah, and I know cell phones have come a long way. And the cameras on them are awesome. I can remember buying a 16 megapixel camera 15 years ago, and that was the greatest thing that you could get for the money. And, cell phones have come a long way, but is that really what you want to stick the results of you getting the maximum amount of your investment return on your house on a bunch of cell phone photos that are online?
I think professional photography is like entry level in marketing. I mean, absolutely bare minimum an agent needs to be doing professional photography.
Yeah, and the thing about it is I have photographers all the time that I've made friends with over the years. And when they roll up to a house to do photos, they're bringing in cases of equipment. And the reason being is because they have figured out what works. They know what's going to be the best thing for them to use. And, I mean, a lot of the lenses that you get for these cameras, I know a friend of mine just bought one. It's $3,000 for the lens. And what it does is when
and a good photographer is going to switch multiple lenses throughout the house based on what room they're shooting.
Yeah. So everything and it's not to cover up anything. It's to give someone a true representation of what your house is. Now, you're going to run into a situation, and they're very few and far between. You're going to get a house that is an awesome house that doesn't photograph well. You kind of can't help that. And on the other side of that, you're going to catch a house that photographs amazingly, but it just doesn't live up to the photos. And that's part of it. But you've got to understand it's what catches the person's eye. I mean, you want to get the most out of your most expensive asset when you sell it. So you want to invest the most money in it to get the most out of it. Is the best way to try and look at it when you're trying to turn around and sell.
I can't stand when a photographer stretches the photos. So
yeah.
whenever you're looking online and it looks like they have a 60-inch Sub-Zero refrigerator, and you get out there and it's a standard refrigerator because they have stretched the picture.
Oh yeah, when you're looking at an 1,100 square foot house and it has an 80-inch television above the fireplace.
Yes. And a good way to look to tell whether the photos have been stretched is look down at the tile. Do they all look like they're the same size? If it's a 12 by 12 tile and all of a sudden you're seeing some that look like they're 24 inches, then that photo has probably been stretched.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember when you're talking about photos, what you're photographing is very important. So professional staging is another thing that helps set a house apart from a ton of others.
I am a firm believer in staging. I just think it helps show the house in the best light possible. And again, you're not hiding anything. You're just putting furniture in it to make it feel more livable.
Yeah, and we say we're not hiding anything. We're going to hide your shampoo. We're going to hide your hand soap. We're going to hide
You're going to
the
take
stuff.
it down.
Well, yeah, we're going to take it out of the photos. And here's why. Your photos, what they're doing is they're not looking at your house. They're seeing themselves in your house. Will my couch fit in this room? Will my TV fit on that wall? Will the things that I have work? Will the shower caddy that's in the bathroom fit all the stuff?
Well, and if you have a beautiful tile shower, oversized shower, and it is packed full of shampoos, conditioners, soaps, things like that, that is very distracting in the photo. Take all of that out of your shower for the photographer so that he can really concentrate on the beauty of the tile.
Yeah, and I think it's important. You want to hide clutter or remove clutter, but this is a great opportunity for you to declutter. You're selling your house, you're going to have to move anyway.
Right. Go ahead and start packing that stuff up.
So go ahead and start figuring out what you really want to take with you, because movers and boxes aren't cheap. And, you see, I think we're going to have soda and pizza for all my friends coming over. Well, your friends are older now than they were when you moved into that house the first time, and pizza costs a lot more money right now, too. So it's going to be expensive either way you do it. But I think a lot of it is when you're looking at those things is a big one. Are you working with the right agent?
Right.
And I think that's a hard one to sit there and say is what qualifies working with the right agent. And I think there are certain qualities you want to look for in your real estate agent that if you're not getting these things, you feel like you're missing out. And I think the first one's going to be communication.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you are not being told what potential buyers or agents are saying about the property because they don't want to hurt your feelings, then you have no idea why your home is not selling.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know. I've been called a lot of things in my real estate career. One of the things, I'm brutally honest. I'm going to tell you up front what my opinion is. But you need to understand there's a reason. I'm also the person that if you have an emotional support crisis, I can be there. God gave me broad shoulders for a reason. But he also understands that I am the central point of that transaction. I am supposed to be the rock that is not emotionally attached to your emotional situation. Because when you have too many emotional points in it, you don't make clear decisions. And I think the other ones is you've got to have a clear marketing plan. What are we going to do? What are the steps going to be? What does this look like?
Right.
And sometimes we talk in advance about price reductions.
Right. Kind of our rule of thumb is if we have 2 weeks with no offers or showings, then that tells us that the market is telling us that we are priced too high. Or if you have 14 showings with no offers, again, that's the market telling us that you are priced too high.
Yeah, and I think we don't use the same thing to say price reduction, to say, well, we're going to reduce the price until it sells. There's a strategy behind it. And I think the big thing to remember is if you've come in super high, we're going to shoot the moon right off the bat. The longer you let it sit there on the market, there's a perception that goes with it. There's a stigma, and it's what's wrong with this house.
Right. You become shop worn, where they feel like it's just been sitting on the shelf too long.
And typically, and unfortunately, right now we talk about a house that's sitting, but 2 weeks is about your run, because every 2 weeks you cycle through buyers.
Right. what happens the first 2 weeks is you're hitting all of those pent-up buyers, those buyers that are currently on the market waiting for the right home to come on the market. After those first 2 weeks, then you're going to start hitting buyers as they come on the market. So your best chance of selling it at the higher price or getting into a multiple bid or not negotiating any is going to be in those first 2 weeks. You get beyond that, and a buyer is absolutely going to expect you to do some negotiating.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is don't be afraid to ask tough questions. I mean, be able to sit down for yourself, sit down and have an honest conversation with whoever you choose to work with. Have that conversation on the front end before you hire someone. Have that conversation during the process of selling a home. Be upfront. I mean, look, we want to have those conversations with you. We want to be able to make sure that we set our very clear expectations of what we expect to happen. And then if you have changes, we're going to go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, we're going to step away and take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about real estate in the Tennessee Valley. This is Real Estate Today with the Richardson Group.
Ain't no way I'm sitting home tonight. I'll be out until the morning light.
Stick and ball, we talk it all. Sports of all sorts, every weekday afternoon, 3 to 7. Quake the Cowboy and Pasquale. Sport Talk on Talk Radio 102.3.
I'm Barbara Corcoran. In Chattanooga, the agent I trust is Cindy Richardson. Cindy can give you an instant offer in 24 hours, a customized marketing plan, and a full team of experts. Get the option that's right for you. Go to rg423.com.
Scott Chase and Dylan here with KZ106 and news of a family reunion. We're throwing the party Saturday, August 16th in historic downtown Chickamauga, Georgia.
This is going to be the ultimate porch fest on the steps to the Gordon Lee Mansion presented by Walker Rocks. Thanks for being part of the KZ family.
We pay tribute to classic rock during KZ's big birthday month with Murder by Crows, a tribute to the Black Crowes.
Use Your Illusion, the music of Guns N' Roses.
Tell Me Lies, a tribute to Fleetwood Mac.
And Stairway to Zeppelin finishes with an incredible Zeppelin set.
Bring your lawn chair, food, and drinks on sale on site, no coolers.
Tickets on sale now at the Sweet Deal page at KZ106.com. $20, no fees, no surge charges. Tickets $25 at the door.
Doors open at 2, music at 3. Stroll downtown, enjoy the Arts Festival presented by Art House Company, and a full afternoon and evening of fun as we make some more memories.
Tickets on sale now at the Sweet Deal page at KZ106.com.
It is such an honor each morning to brag about Cindy Richardson and the incredible pros who make up the Richardson Group, Keller Williams. Skip the showing and let the Richardson Group make you an offer on your home. Just Google Richardson Group or go online to rg423.com.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's the Trade-In Man. This is John Davis at Kia Cleveland announcing our summer blockbuster blowout. You don't need to be a hero to pay zero. Zero down. Zero payments this summer. Plus, I need your trade, and I need it today. And I'm willing to overpay. Don't let the credit villains keep you from driving your dream car. At Kia Cleveland, getting approved is a possible mission. Our lenders will say yes to you and yes to your situation. Remember, I'll beat any deal from anywhere in Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama. Come see me, John Davis, your hero in the car business at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where getting the best deal is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Looking for the dealer who's gonna give you more. Kia of Cleveland Superstore.
Example 25K4LX. 0 down, $349 per month for 72 months at 4.9% APR. Negative trade equity may be refinanced, subject to lender approval. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
KiaofCleveland.com.
Thanks to you, Lawson Electric is celebrating our 100th anniversary as the area's premier electrical contracting company. Our success comes from the core values that have been developed and tested over time. We believe in treating our customers well and treating our employees well and providing high-quality work at a fair price. We encourage our team to be involved in the communities we serve and always, always do the right thing. While many think of us for traditional electrical services, we're also leaders in automation, design build, design assist services to provide cost-effective solutions, sustainable power, technical services and data, and communications electric. At Lawson Electric, we are problem solvers and difference makers. Call 423-267-5471 to experience the Lawson different or visit us online at LawsonElectric.com. Lawson Electric, building our reputation for the next 100 years, one project at a time. You know, every real estate agent will talk about the good, but some agents will intentionally omit the bad if they think it won't benefit them. That is why transparency is a crucial characteristic of a good agent. That is why it's an honor to talk about Cindy Richardson and her team. The Richardson Group holds nothing back, and they'll be the first to help anyone. Just Google Richardson Group or go online to rg423.com. Each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated.
Talk 102.3.
Welcome back to Real Estate Today with the Richardson Group. We've been talking about a lot of different things from rates, not rate cutting, depreciation. We don't have any of that. What we expect to happen when the rates do go down, why your house is currently on the market right now isn't selling. But there's another side of that coin, though, too, is why aren't more homes hitting the market? And we kind of touched on that a little bit when we're talking about rates where we expect to see them trickle in. But I think there's a lot of big reasons that they're not.
You've got to have a reason to want to sell if you are locked into an interest rate that is,
3%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to say 3.5%. Yeah. So now, don't get me wrong. People are going to make moves for life changes. That is the number one reason people make a move. But if you don't have to make that move, a lot of people are just sitting still until interest rates come down.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, too, is you've got so many people that are locked into those older rates. So a lot of them are trying to work through some of those life changes to make it work, just to not have to turn around. They're not quite at that point to where they really absolutely have to downsize or have to move. They're able to work from home. We're still seeing a big push from the work from home. I know there's been a push to get a lot of people back into the offices, but you're still seeing a ton of people that do work from home or work hybrid, which you do a couple of days in the office, then a couple of days at home. Those are still super popular options for people right now to be able to work.
I think people are a little hesitant to make moves right now, too, based on what's going on politically.
Yeah, I mean, and we're still in, where the election was in 2024, but the election year, this is the first year of the new presidential term, is 2025. So a lot of people are still kind of sitting back and watching how things go over the first year. We've seen developments coming out of last year, over the last 2 years in the Middle East. We're still seeing things in Ukraine and Russia and Asia and a lot of power plays. There's still a lot of volatility floating around internationally. So a lot of people want to see how that does play itself out, which is not uncommon.
Right.
And the thing about it is it doesn't have to be an election year for that to happen. That can happen at any point in time, really.
It messes with buyer confidence whenever we see things happening.
Yeah. I think one of the other things, though, too, is I refer to them as step-up buyers. You're going from your starter home to your next larger home, and you kind of hit a point to where there's not a feasible step-up for you to go, whether you're going from your starter home into the 3-bedroom home because you now have 2 children, or you're 2 to 3, you're moving out and trying to find just something that's more in line with what you want. You just don't have that now. And a lot of people that had that starter home have that lower price starter home at a much better rate. So they're trying to, again, push what they're doing, but that's going to hold inventory off. The more people
a lot of those step-up homes, too, that's where you have a lot of your baby boomers and people are aging in place. So you got a lot of your baby boomers are not selling and moving into smaller things. They're just holding on to those homes and just staying in them for now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, we all see it, in-home care is a big thing now.
Yes.
It's a major industry, being able to, and for a lot of people, it's comfort, especially if you're in a situation to where you have, and I'll use my situation as an example. That happened with my stepfather a couple of years ago. You still had mother and stepfather were at home. Stepfather's coming to the end of his life. We used in-home care as an option, but mom still lived in the home. Mom still lives there even though he's passed, but that was an option, and we didn't reach a sell point at that point. So a lot of those are holding those things on as that second generation still ages in place, and there's no reason to really look to downsize to an extent. Yeah.
I think when they will decide to downsize is when it doesn't become cost effective to stay in a home because it's too much maintenance, or they need to start doing some of the big ticket items like roof, windows, things like that. that's rather than doing those, then it may be time to sell and let another buyer come in that's ready to take on a little bit of a project to get more square foot.
Yeah, and I think that's something for a lot of people to keep in mind, though, too, is a lot of these project houses aren't that they're falling apart. It's that they've reached a point to where you have deferred maintenance and necessary updating.
Right, just
So-
a lack or the end of life
Yeah.
for a lot of the big items.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, too. The thing, if you get a house that was built in the 80s, still very common in this area, a lot of houses built, you still have several pieces of original hardware in the home. As far as electronic or mechanical things like that, they still function. Was it made 5 years ago? No. Is it a new oven, new refrigerator, new things? No, but those things also lasted a whole lot longer.
Right.
I've been in houses from the 70s that still have the original
Avocado.
HVAC. They still have all the original tile, original HVAC, and they've got a list of every time they maintenance it, and it works better than some of the newer stuff. It's how much care has gone into it. But I mean, know that if you're wanting, for a lot of people say, I want a 4-bedroom home, I want those things. Just remember when those houses were built, master baths, en suites were not a common occurrence in this area. So you're going to find things that fit a lot of your criteria that are going to be missing a few other things too. Just because at the area, because you want that square footage, you want that lot
bones,
size.
you can always go in and do some remodeling.
You can, but I mean-
especially if you have the space in it to be able to do it.
Yeah, but if you tell me I want a 4-bedroom home on an acre lot built in 2015, that's going to be very hard to find. That's not astronomically expensive. Just because around 2005, you kind of started to see those go away. And if they were building those, you were in the county without sewer. So you can't really do anything because the majority of your yard is now occupied by the septic system and the expansion area for the septic system. So there's a lot of give and take in what you want and what you're going to get out there on a lot of those things. So, I mean, if you're a buyer or a seller, I mean, what do you do? I mean, if you're a buyer, like we said, go ahead and get your pre-approval. Know that way you're ready to move, because what you want is probably going to go on and then go off the market pretty quickly.
Well, and if you're getting your pre-approval, you're going to know if there's things you need to work on. If you get your credit score up just a little bit, would that put you in a different bracket for your rate?
Yes.
Because there are cutoff points where you get a better rate based on your credit score. If you're close to one of those, then you're going to want to get it up.
Yeah, and I think the important thing is have a full conversation with whoever you choose to do your mortgage through. Make sure you understand what your limits are, what your monthly payments look like, but also what are your closing costs? What do those closing costs include? Are they including a automatic buy down, which can run several $1,000s? Because that may be something that you have to turn around and negotiate in your sales price. So that may affect what type of home you're able to go in and negotiate for. If you need, say, 4% of the purchase price and closing costs to cover all of your stuff, that's going to be a hard stick to find one that's in the right price range already, and then ask for 4% basically out of the seller's pocket to cover your closing costs.
Well, and make sure that the numbers that they're giving you include taxes and insurance too. So your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance. And when you're looking at homes, just be aware of what homes insurance may be more expensive. Let's say you've got a cabin out in the middle of nowhere, then your insurance on that's going to be very expensive versus a new construction home right in the middle of town that, is easily accessible. So just know that it's not a clear-cut payment. You've got to keep in mind how much your insurance is going to be too.
Yeah, because those things can fluctuate. And as everybody I know in this area has started to feel that little impending twinge of what property taxes are going to do this coming year. It's always a big thing to remember. Those are the only two things that can change on your mortgage payment. Once you get locked in for your rate, your mortgage payment doesn't change. But however, your property tax and your homeowner's insurance can. That's going to affect your overall payment, especially if you're tied into an escrow account for that payment.
Right.
Let's step away and take a last break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about what's going on in the real estate market. This is Real Estate Today with the Richardson Group.
WGOW. You've got the smart speaker. Now get the smart talk.
Having a great time listening to the radio here and just sort of listening to everyone's comments.
Thank you for taking my call. I am so enjoying this morning's program.
It's always a great listen.
I trust it.
Talk 102.3 WGOW FM.
Greg is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. 8 years ago, I just didn't feel like I was on my game. I started taking Prevagen, and I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This is Paige from Kia of Chattanooga announcing our Kia $299 sale, featuring new Kias for just $299 down, $299 per month. And get this, new Kias start at just $18,991. Yes, a new car with a factory warranty for under $19,000. Plus, you can finance a 25 Kia Sportage or Sorrento at 1.9 APR for 60 months. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. At Kia of Chattanooga, all credit is welcome. Plus, Kia of Chattanooga will pay top dollar for any trade in any condition. Don't miss the Kia $299 sale. New Kias for just $299 down, $299 per month at the world famous Kia of Chattanooga and KiaofChattanooga.com.
You could be driving a Kia, oh yes you could, Kia of Chattanooga.
Stock number K945270. 25 Soul LX sale price. $18,991. $299 down, $299 a month for 84 months at 6.9 APR plus tax and tag. Dealer retains all rebates. $12.72 per thousand finance for 60 months at 1.9 APR. Subject to lender approval. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
All right, if you have a yard and a home, I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Do you want the highest possible offer for the sale of that home? Contact my friend Cindy Richardson and the incredible pros who make up the Richardson Group, Keller Williams. Just Google Richardson Group or go online to rg423.com. All right, if you have a yard and a home, I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Do you want the highest possible offer for the sale of that home? Are you ready to move on to your dream home but still need to sell your current home? It's hectic. It doesn't have to be. Are you tired of all the drama? I'm asking you to do one thing. Contact my friend Cindy Richardson. She takes the drama out of home selling. Just Google Richardson Group or go online to rg423.com. Each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated. When it comes to selling or buying a home, Cindy Richardson and the incredible pros who make up the Richardson Group, Keller Williams, will tell it to you straight. Their years of serving homeowners in the Tennessee Valley have earned them incredible respect in the real estate industry. Go online to rg423.com. All right, if you have a yard and a home, I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Do you want the highest possible offer for the sale of that home? Are you ready to move on to your dream home but still need to sell your current home? It's hectic. It doesn't have to be. Are you tired of all the drama? I'm asking you to do one thing. Contact my friend Cindy Richardson. She takes the drama out of home selling. Have you ever talked to her before, or Jody? They're incredible. Best of the best year after year. 300 5-star reviews. It's simple. Go to rg423.com, rg423.com, and start packing. Cindy and her team can also help buy and sell homes for the Spanish-speaking community. Contact the team that thousands of people in the Valley trust. Cindy Richardson and the Richardson Group. Just Google Richardson Group. That's Richardson Group, or go online to rg423.com, rg423.com. Each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated.
Talk 102.3.
Welcome back to Real Estate Today with the Richardson Group. We've been talking a lot about all things real estate today, from rates, what we expect rates to do, why your home isn't selling right now if you're on the market, why more homes are not on the market to sell right now. Let's take a look at some of the stuff that's going on outside of our area, because real estate is very local. And you hit me with a really neat thing. The average rent for Chattanooga is where now?
$1,600 is what
$1,600
I heard.
a month.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't remember what the source of that was, but I heard it on one of the news channels. So the average rent now is $1,600, which is $200 below the state average.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that plays into some big things. When you look at the big drivers for the state of Tennessee are going to be the Nashville metro area, Knoxville, Gatlinburg to an extent, but that's more short term on the Gatlinburg side. But I think a lot of it, though, is you have to look at, I like to see the breakdowns. How many at that average point are above
the price,
the number, versus how many are below? Because if you've got a ton of smaller properties out there that are all renting for $1,100 or $1,200 a month, which we're seeing more and more of that, that's a big average dryer when you don't have a lot of those lower price
that's one
rentals.
good reason why you want to watch the median and not the average.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing. When we're talking about inventory, it is up. From all we've talked about why things aren't selling and why things aren't coming on the market, and inventory nationally is up. We're up 13% year over year, and especially we're considered the southern area, southeastern, for how the National Association of Realtors sets all our stuff up. We encompass Texas to Florida and then up through us. But the big reason is these have been historically over the last 10 years your most popular areas. Anything major metro in this area for the Southeast has been a huge driver over the last 10 years. So we've always seen that appreciation. New listings, however, we're still well below where we were pre-pandemic.
But we're up tremendously over the last year. So we are at about almost 3,300 listings right now, whereas this time last year we were at, I'm going off memory now, I want to say like 2,300.
Yeah, it's about 1,000, I think, when I looked the other day. And the thing about it is that's not a bad thing.
Oh, goodness, no, that's great.
You want to look at how fast your price ranges are turning. And I kind of want to say how fast the market turns for our total listings, but it's really hard to look at those when you know certain price ranges move so much faster than others.
And talking just the averages, and I mean, that doesn't equate to everything across the board. So when you really hone in on look at homes under 300,000 and they go like 300 to 500 and 500 and up, you're going to see some very different markets. Some of them are still seller's market. Some are neutral markets. I don't think we have any yet that have moved into buyer's markets, but we are headed that direction.
Yeah. I think the next biggest thing, we talked about some price reductions. Have your market strategy. They're still on the rise, and a lot of homes are having to do price reductions and price cuts. Right now, it's 1 in 3 that's seen at least one price reduction of what's on the market nationally. That doesn't really translate to here to an extent, but that's what we're seeing.
That sounds about right.
And that's up from about 22% this time last year. We're still seeing a lot of people that want to price like it's 2021 or 2022, and they want to shoot the moon. I
think that's when they have to decide, do you want to sell your home or do you just want to put it on the market?
Yeah, and I think it's the big thing. If I can
people are not showing up with suitcase full of cash
from California because they sold and wanting to buy your house $50,000 over what you've got it listed for. And that's the big thing. And kind of like what we've said, especially if you're over 400,000, that's where we're starting to see that slowdown and all that stuff. But I mean, affordability is the big thing for everybody. We said it before. That's still the number one challenge for anybody trying to buy a house. Is it affordable?
Right.
Can I afford it? Is
and
it worth it?
Unfortunately, we still have not seen a big shift in that, and not sure how we're going to address that in the future.
No, I don't think that's a big thing. Is it going? I don't know if a rate cut is going to be the thing, or
it will be for some, but I don't think that that's going to fix the entire problem. That's going to fix the ones that are very close to being able to afford right now, but overall, it's not going to.
Yeah. So the monthly payment, median price, nationally, $434,000 is the price of the home, nationally median, and that's over $2,800 a month, including your taxes and insurance. Which, I mean, that's gone up 40%. Guys, thanks so much for sticking with us today. We hope you enjoy your weekend and enjoy the show. We look forward to talking to you guys next week on Real Estate Today with the Richardson Group.
On air and online 24/7.